two patients in constancy. Okay, that's an elongation of that there's a certain time element. Now, I'll just jump right into what we're talking about for today. There is a time element that all the things that have been happening in the United States and in the world has presented an environmental circumstance that everything involved in it feeds off. It seems like that it was created for this purpose, and each one of them feeds off of itself. For instance, everybody wants or believes or knows that African Americans, when they go to the university or anywhere else, when they come out, instead of going in private industry, they're going to go into the government. That's why you'll see so many government officials, you know what I mean, that are black, because that's where they go. They don't go in private industry. Or they may not go directly to get elected in politics. They may move up in the system, right? Get a name, then they might hit some political thing. So the point is right now, when we talk about integrating into the system, when we talk about safety for black people, for Latinos, for Asians, when you talk that language, you're talking a time-specific benefit that the system has created itself. This is time-specific. White people, they go take business management, they go into private industry. They used to, more than they went into the government. Black people, if they became proficient in business management at university, they got a master's or a PhD, they would join the government, right? And so, if people wanted job security, because that's the main thing, hey man, for job security, and for this, that, and other, that's why people, see, you'll never get rich working for the government, but you won't starve to death either. You know what I mean? You won't starve to death. You will have whatever, a middle-class salary, generally. Okay. And as you move up in the government, you'll get a semi-little upper middle. You still won't be rich as you would get in private industry if you hit. But if you get in the government, after you're there 6 months or a year, they can't get rid of you no more, right? The civil service, they have to pass an act of Congress to get rid of you, you know, under the civil service, whatever they call it, act. Okay, but they have that. They can't get rid of you, hey man. Anyway, but the point is, people do that for safety, for security, and for stability, right? And after so many years of coming from poor families or other middle-class families, like we have many of them that are black, they got to the middle class and they could stay there because, right, they become a police officer, right? And if you're a police officer, there's certain things that go with the job. You can be a drunkard, but not a teetotaler. I mean, you can't be no old, you can't be sloshing around drunkard. You know what I mean? You have to learn to control yourself because they got PT training. Every now and then you gotta go back, right? Just like in the fire department, right? You gotta, every now and then, you gotta go back, right? They have that in the fire department and kind of.
Not really, no.
So after you get in.
What
Once you get in there, you don't have to run up no more stairs and take no more drag.
Not for Trump. No, not for not to check on, make sure you're in shape. No, you don't have to. Once you go through the academy, you're in.
Yeah. Okay, but do the people train? Do the majority of the people in the fire department do some physical fitness?
Once you get it's like a tech position,
right?
Those are the ones you see with the fat,
with the tummies and everything.
Yeah. So no, they don't. Not in the fire department. They don't do that. You know.
But here's the point.
Only the young guys. Only the young guys
yeah.
who come in. You know.
Right.
But after a while, no, they you get the tummies and you get comfortable.
Are those beer runs that the fire truck go all and it goes and you see it at Safeway? You hear one brother was telling me it's a lunch run or a beer run.
No, well, I don't know about the beer. Well, sometimes, but no. Usually it's the grocery store.
That's where you see them. You go and see them going to the grocery store.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And what have you.
Yeah, they going to get the food for the meal or for breakfast or what have you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. Do they cook the meal or do they? They have the brothers in there can cook a little bit.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Now, back to civil service work. Whether it's the fire department, or whether it's the police department, whether it's probation officers, they're not nice at all. They're just a mean bunch. The black ones are the worst almost. But still, if you are in the system, this is where people automatically, I'm sure most of the Kamala Harris was over at Howard, right? And she ran over, she was the head DA in San Francisco. Then she became Attorney General in California. Then she became Senator and then Vice President. Okay. But she's the same woman that wanted to put black people in jail for their kids not going to school, high school, whatever. I said, good God Almighty, that was a mean lady there. In fact, I was in California on and off, so I knew it was true. But the point is, strategic brilliance is a battlefield related to tactics more than strategy, but it is a high strategy. Strategic brilliance is when your strategy has mostly benefits and very few deficits, right? Mm-hmm. So now let's kind of just breeze over this strategy of infiltration and saturation of all the civil service work. So we would say, instead of the tree huggers spiking trees, the spiking trees is when you spike the tree and then you had a chainsaw cutting through the tree and you almost get killed by hitting the chainsaw. This is pretty serious, boy, I tell you. So that's what they do a lot. Or those people, and half of them are already educated to a sufficient level. Instead of them trying to stop the cutting down of the forest and preventing forest, they should join those. They're already educated, but as they doing their work, they getting money and they got time to still go to school and elevate themselves. They would be like police. Because from what I understand, the tests and everything that's given and the promotions are given more on tests than on work. You know what I mean? If you're a super duper police that just arrests everybody and got a zillion arrests and 50 million convictions, that might be fine, but if you can't hardly read and write, you're not going to make much promotion. But if you got them tests down, that's the way the white lady became the chief of police. All the people that get up in that arena, it's the education has got them there, right? Okay, they're all master's degrees and up in that arena, right? On management, organization, all of that stuff. All right. So therefore, just visualize a whole cadre in every institution and every, no matter whatever the civil service branch it is, including the post office, it just don't make no difference. Everybody improve themselves and educate themselves. So if they're in a university right now, as soon as you get your first degree, join up. Join up, but you can go and you can get the way to work now is an 8-hour day or such and such. You can take so many classes and you can earn a living, right? Plus, do your college, right? That's my understanding of it, that you can do both. Yeah, and eat and everything, you know, because it's a middle class salary. A middle class salary now, if you live below middle class and you get a middle class salary, you can build up a nest egg. You can build up a nest egg. Okay.
The Arabic that I do know is while as a firefighter, I went to UBC and took classes.
Mm-hmm.
So and they pay for it. That's the other thing. Oh yeah, when you're a government employee, you want to go to school, they pay for it. That's the other thing. The
Negro can't tell you, okay, forget it. All Negroes, look, you got to do this. It's too easy now. That's what I meant to say, that in time, I didn't know that, but they facilitate.
Right. You take something within the context of your profession,
right.
But you can also, I took, things like that I wanted to take. So Arabic was one of them.
Man alive.
Yeah, they kind of have those same things going on in private industry, but it's like they might only cover half. I think Hughes would only cover half of your education, from what I can
It don't make no difference anything.
Right.
They facilitating
right.
us in this. They didn't mean for it to be used the way we're talking.
Right, yeah.
Okay, there's a possible time limit for what we're talking about. 5 years, that's easy. 10 years, they might be like the Congress and everything, try to switch it around. Too many of us use it. I believe that the way it's structured right now, there's enough time for us to, when I say us, that means I want you to visualize Mexican Americans, Filipinos. Well, a lot of those people, they do that. They've already infiltrated in California, Filipinos and all that. They've infiltrated county work and city work. Everywhere you go, it's a Filipino, okay. And they've done that. And Filipinos in nursing, they study nursing heavily, subsidized nursing in the Philippines, so they could jump right on a plane and come over here, right, and take care of their whole family back home, one of them on a nursing salary, because they have a nursing shortage here. Okay, the point I'm making is, also the surprise. We have to get busy on this right away because the element of surprise is gone after you declare we could use this for the benefit of humanity. Okay, the government got all these programs for the benefit of themselves. I just want you to imagine though, with the currency being the way it is, with China creating a super middle class shrinking in America. Can you imagine some people work 2 jobs? Some people work 3 jobs in America. This is insanity. When I was growing up, one man, they could buy a house, send all the kids to college and everything on one man's salary. That's when they had housewives. That's when on TV, 65, all patent placed and certain kind of, all that stuff, that was housewife. White women, they didn't have nothing to do. It was at home when the husband was working.
Yeah, they had the census on the radio, it was like some months ago, about the average sleep that Americans get, maybe 3 to 4 hours a day because they work 2 or 3 jobs. They got to, they had no choice. I mean, it was like a big census that they like WHO or something like that.
No, that's true. So 2 and 3 different, but see, the other jobs paid you a salary where one man could take care of his whole family, buy a brand new car, Chevrolet, have a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, right? In brand new home tracks, right? In 65, in 60, in 55, all the white people, that's what they did. The white women didn't work, unless they had to, something was wrong, you know. They did not work. That's what housewives, they just was home and, you know, and what have you. But here's the point. We're looking at it in a time-specific arena. This is a specific time for this policy. Number one, the main policy is is safety for the black community, safety for the Mexican American community, safety for the Asian community. Of course, we gotta have unity and harmony, all of it. But see, the system is forcing us together. The Asians, just a couple of years ago, didn't want to have nothing to do with blacks. They was running as Republicans, right?
Right, yeah.
And niggas ought to work harder. We came over here from Vietnam, and now we're just, you know, we open a donut shop, and that's it.
You know, I saw something where they said 80% of donations to the Proud Boys came from Asians. 80% came from Asians.
And it's still that now?
They didn't say whether it was still, I'm just saying that's what I read maybe last month, that it was put out there, that 80%.
Well, see, last month is when they started killing, a month before last, when they started killing Asians.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you would have got that percentage from almost anybody because Asians and blacks didn't get along. And when you watch some Asian old woman get jumped on, probably the police sent that nigga to jump on the woman and put it on TV. You see what I mean? Because from my understanding, Negroes were not jumping on old Asian women. You know what I mean? And some of the Asians were our friends. My brother, his first job, my second oldest brother, They followed they were Chinese, of course. See, in California, all the stores were Chinese stores back in the 50s and 60s. And especially, it was in the white neighborhoods and all the corner stores, which a lot of the shopping was done in corner stores in those days because they didn't have as many big supermarkets like now. They have used, so a lot of people just went up to, or all the things like butter and sugar you either got from your neighbor over the fence, you know, butter, milk, sugar. In fact, they had, believe it or not, they had a milkman in those days. That you left your back door open and everybody knew it. And the milkman put milk in your refrigerator and took the bottles. People don't believe that. That's what America was so relaxed that you left your door open. And the milkman there's a milkman. Right?
That is just unbelievable.
But the people don't believe they used to have a milkman that drove around and stuff.
Right.
And everybody knew that your door was open because the milk bottles.
And then, because the metal box is set by the door. I remember, I didn't see that, but I did see my grandmother's.
It was a milkman. Okay, this is a different environment.
Right.
So
It's another universe.
that environment is not coming back anyway soon. But we have to take advantage of the time, space that we're occupying by the gift of time as it has unfolded through the ages. Recording man's successes and failures. Okay. What I'm saying is that this time of government jobism, it used to be like black people liked it because they could get stability, and everybody's always talking about stability, stability, stability. You don't want to take a chance on getting rich because you might go broke. You know what I mean? Just to take it. No, we didn't teach take chances, you know. Right?
That's so true.
They didn't teach it. They didn't teach that. They didn't teach that. So, you know, when things get ready, those big, huge transitions, the system itself then aided the people in that. Right?